Welcome to my channel. Did you know the average woman spends 153 days of her life just looking for lost items at home? Wild, right? And most of that time is wasted on stuff we don't even need. We just hang on to it in case. I used to be stuck in that loop cleaning constantly, but the mess always came back. So today, I'm sharing decluttering methods that actually work. Not just trendy ideas, but real habits that make a difference in everyday life. This video will help you figure out what to keep, what to let go of, and how to stop your space from falling back into chaos. Before we dive in, drop a comment with one item you're on the fence about. Keep it or toss it. I bet you're not the only one. The first method I want to share is something called the 50-50 rule. It's a super simple idea when you're decluttering a specific category like mugs, bags, or old skincare. You challenge yourself to let go of half. Now I know that sounds intense. And honestly, the first time I tried it, I kind of laughed. I was going through my sock drawer and I thought, okay, let's be real. I probably only wear 3 pairs regularly, but I have 27. So instead of asking, should I keep this? I flipped the question to, if I had to keep only half, which ones would make the cut? That one small shift made it so much easier to decide. There was no guilt, just clarity. What makes this rule helpful is that it pushes past indecision, especially for those items we tend to keep just in case. You're not tossing everything. You're simply narrowing down to what actually serves you today. If you want to try it, start small. Maybe just with water bottles, pens, or kitchen tools. Lay them all out. Look at them as a group and ask yourself, if I could only keep half of these, which ones truly earn their spot? And if 50% feels like too much to let go of right now, that's okay. You don't need to hit the exact number. This method isn't about being strict, it's about getting honest with yourself. Sometimes even aiming for 50% helps you naturally release 30%, and that's still progress. Oh, and if you've ever looked around and thought, why does my house still feel messy even after I've cleaned? Tomorrow's video is for you. I'll walk you through the subtle ways your home can look cluttered even when it's not dirty, and how to fix it without buying anything or changing your furniture. Super simple tweaks, and they make a space feel so much calmer and more put together. So if that sounds like something you need, make sure you're subscribed, you won't want to miss it. But back to today. Let's move on to the next method that can help you declutter with a little more structure. The next method is called the 12-12-12 method, and it's one of the easiest ways to break through that. Where do I even start feeling? Here's how it works. You choose a small area in your home, maybe the kitchen counter, a closet shelf, or even just one drawer. Then you try to find 12 items to throw away, 12 to donate, and 12 to put back in the right place. That's it, just 12 of each. Now, the first time I tried this, I picked our entryway. It had become a bit of a landing zone: shoes, mail, keys, receipts, random stuff that didn't belong there. So I set a 15-minute timer, grabbed a laundry basket, and started counting. I didn't get all the way to 12 in each category, and honestly, that's okay. What mattered is that I had a clear focus. Instead of staring at the mess and feeling frozen, I had a little goal, a structure, a finish line. What I love about this method is that it turns decluttering into a game. It's measurable, quick, and oddly satisfying, like checking off a to-do list. If you want to try it, don't worry about getting the numbers exactly right. You might end up with 9, 14, and 10, and that's totally fine. The point is, you're moving, you're making decisions, you're building momentum. This next method is super simple, but it can completely change the way clutter builds up in your home. It's called the one-touch rule. The idea is this: every item should only be touched once before it goes where it belongs. So instead of picking something up and setting it down somewhere else for now, you take one action and finish it. Mail goes straight into the recycling or the folder. Dirty socks go straight to the laundry basket. Groceries get put away right after shopping, not left on the counter. Now I'll be honest, I used to be the queen of "I'll deal with this later." Keys on the table, packages in the hallway, water bottles that somehow multiplied on every flat surface. But those later piles, they add up fast. And before you know it, you're spending your Saturday cleaning up Friday's trail of half-done decisions. What helped me shift was treating each item like a quick decision, not a burden. I'd literally ask myself, do I want to handle this now? Or handle it twice later? 9 times out of 10, doing it now saved me energy. The beauty of this rule is that it creates less mess to clean up later. You're not working harder, just being a little more intentional in the moment. And no, you don't have to be perfect. Even doing this with 50% of your stuff will reduce the daily mess more than you think. So maybe just try it tonight when you take off your jacket or open the mail. Touch it once, finish the task, and move on. This next method is a classic, and there's a reason so many professional organizers recommend it. It's called the 4-box method. Here's how it works. When you're decluttering a space, any space you bring 4 boxes or bags labeled keep, donate, trash, relocate. Meaning this doesn't belong here, but you're not throwing it away. That's it, just 4 clear categories. The beauty of this method is that it gives your brain clarity. Instead of thinking, I don't know what to do with this, you've only got 4 options. It turns every decision into something doable, and that helps when you're already overwhelmed. I used this when I tackled the cabinet under our bathroom sink, you know, the place where half-used shampoo bottles and expired sunscreen go to die. I laid everything out, grabbed 4 bags, and started sorting. It was so much easier than usual because I didn't have to overthink. Even the random items like a single earring or travel lotion had a place to go. It also helped me realize how many things were just in the wrong room. Why this method works so well is that it forces small, clear decisions. And when clutter comes from indecision, this process cuts through the noise. If you're trying this for the first time, I'd say, don't start with your biggest, messiest space. Try it on a drawer, a nightstand, or even your car. It's like building a muscle. The more you practice, the easier it gets. This next method is one of those small habits that makes a big difference over time. It's called the 1 in 1 out rule. The idea is simple. Every time you bring something new into your home, you let go of one similar item. Buy a new pair of jeans. Donate or toss an old pair. Bring home a new mug. Choose one to let go of. It sounds small, but this habit keeps clutter from sneaking back in. For me, this rule really clicked after a random weekend trip to Target. I came home with a new storage basket because of course I did, and suddenly realized I had 3 others already sitting in the hallway closet. All different shapes, none of them being used. That was my moment. From then on, I told myself, if something new comes and something old has to go. Not because I want to be minimalist or strict, but because space is limited, and I want the things in my home to actually serve me, not crowd me. What I love about this method is that it creates a natural boundary. You don't need to declutter constantly, you're just being intentional as you go. It's also a great rule to teach kids. My daughter knows if you get a new toy, we find one to pass on. If this feels too rigid, you can adjust it. Maybe it's 1 and 2 out if you're deep in decluttering mode, or maybe just practice it with certain categories like clothes books or pantry items. Start where it feels easy, and you'll be surprised how quickly it adds up. Sometimes the hardest part of decluttering isn't what to do, it's where to begin. That's why this method is so helpful. Start small and set simple goals. Instead of telling yourself, I need to declutter the whole kitchen, try, today I'm just going to clear out the utensil drawer. Or I'll spend 10 minutes decluttering my nightstand before bed. This mindset shift was a game changer for me. I used to wait for the perfect time, a free weekend, a clean slate, the stars to align. But spoiler, that time never came. So one night, while waiting for water to boil, I opened the junk drawer. In 8 minutes, I had tossed 3 broken pens, a dead battery, 2 expired coupons, and I could finally close the drawer again. That tiny win gave me momentum, not because it was dramatic, but because it felt doable. Here's the truth. You don't have to declutter everything all at once. You just need to start small and consistently. Set goals that feel realistic in your life right now. That might be 1 drawer a day, 1 bag of donations per week, or 15 minutes of tidying every evening before bed. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And honestly, the more often you show up, the less decluttering becomes a big task. It just becomes part of how you care for your space. The last method is called the 1-year rule, and it's surprisingly simple but surprisingly powerful. The idea is this: if you haven't used it in the past 12 months and it's not seasonal or truly sentimental, maybe it's time to let it go. Now I know, there's always that little voice that says, but what if I need it someday? I've said it too about a curling iron I hadn't touched in 2 years. A stack of blank notebooks and a waffle maker I swore I'd use when I had more time. But here's the thing. If 365 days went by and I didn't even reach for it, it probably isn't adding value to my life right now. It's just taking up space. What helped me apply this rule was walking through my home with fresh eyes. I'd pick up an item and ask, have I used this in the last year? Would I even notice if it were gone? For most things, the answer was honest and freeing. Why this method works. It gives you a clear, objective timeline, especially helpful when you feel stuck in decision paralysis. And it gently reminds you that just because something used to be useful doesn't mean it still is. Now, of course, there are exceptions. Holiday decorations. Of course they stay. Family heirlooms or deeply meaningful items, keep them with intention. But the sweater you haven't worn since 2022 or the rice cooker you forgot you owned, those might be ready to move on. And letting them go. It doesn't mean you failed. It means you're making space for what truly fits your life now. So those were 7 decluttering methods that actually work: gentle, realistic, and truly helpful for keeping your home feeling lighter, not just for today, but long term. You don't have to do all of them at once. Just pick one that feels doable and try it out in a small space, a drawer, a side table, maybe your purse. If you're craving a space that looks calm, not just clean, I think tomorrow's video will be especially helpful. I'll be sharing practical ways to reduce visual clutter so your rooms feel more peaceful and easy on the eyes without redecorating or buying anything new. Be sure to check that one out. It's a natural next step after everything we talked about today. And if this video gave you even a tiny bit of clarity or calm, feel free to share, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.